Hi everybody, welcome to my Unruly Housewife channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about Moiko texture plates. I asked Gozia to send me a couple and she did. I'm going to show them to you. It's probably saying on here somewhere that it's a paid promotion because I ticked the box that said I got something for free, because I did. I got 2 texture plates, but I'm not being paid like 200 quid to tell you these things are good. They just are. Now, a lot of you might know the name of Moiko from their excellent Silkscreens. I know I'd find the word. Like this one. I've used them a lot, and I'm going to quickly show you some of them just because they're so good, and we may as well chuck them in while we're doing a video. So like this, I used to make these earrings, which are done on polymer clay with low temperature enamel, and I put this over the top. The way I did this actually was I put the powder, the low def colour powder, on top of the silk screen and then tapped it through with a credit card. It's more like being backstage at an awards ceremony than doing crafts in your bedroom, but you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so they're really good silk screens, and some of these patterns, or all of them, I don't know if that will happen, are being reproduced as texture plates, and that's really exciting for polymer clayers. This I actually etched some copper by using that pattern with some red paint. Bit hard to explain, not going to explain that now, but you can see what a great pattern it is, and this is on polymer clay with acrylic paint. So yeah, so they're really good silk screens, and now to my excitement, they brought out some texture sheets, and I just think they're so great. I'm going to link to the Moiko Etsy shop in the description down below. So what did I do with these plates? Well, I did 2 kinds of things. One was just a very basic normal thing that you'd do with a texture plate, and one was Mica Shift. So I'll show you the normal things that I did first, where I just used the texture plates to make patterns. I used black clay. This one is leopard print, and I made this, which is these are just samples, they're not actual things. I pressed the pattern onto the clay. I put some gold and copper perfect pearls on there. Before I baked it, I lifted off the excess, because this was sticking up. I lifted off the excess with some washi tape, and I think it's made a really nice leopard skin pattern. The spotted one I did like this, and I used perfect pearls. Let me see, interference blue, white kind of colour. And I also used a red blue, this one, it's Pearl X mica powder. So they're all mica powders, and this time I didn't lift it off with anything. I just used it on the bumpy clay. It's quite kind of cool how it doesn't go into the edges there, and again, same UV resin. And you can see that I just made a sample, because what a mess. I wouldn't try that to make that into a piece of jewellery without some serious work. So yeah, what I'm going to show you now is a little more interesting. Now, because I'm going to do some Mica Shift, which gives a 3D illusion by almost bruising the clay with the texture sheet, I've run this clay through my pasta machine a few times. The clays I'm using today, by the way, are black Sculpey Primo and Sculpey Accents. That looks like an antique gold to me, not sure. This, obviously the gold one has got metallic mica pieces, I don't know what you'd call them, in it, and you have to get the clay a really smooth silky finish in order to bruise the pattern into it. So there it is. Let's get this piece, and the way I've been doing it is I put the nicest side down. You can see there the little bits of dark where it's not quite, or even here, let me show you. I'm sorry I keep going off track, but you see that? Once you put that through the pasta machine a few times, you get that silky finish, and what we're going to do with the texture is get these dark pieces back. So I'll just show you how I put the pattern in. It's probably not the best way to do it, but it's the way I do it. Put a piece of paper over and I press down with this, and it is one of those stainless steel soaps that you can get to get smelly garlic and stuff off your hands. These are on Amazon. They're not very expensive and they're really useful polymer clay, because you can like lay, say if you want to make a curved pendant or something over it to bake. And also I'm doing this with it. Now I've got to press pretty hard. The wind seems to have calmed down a bit. Imagine doing this in a storm. What is wrong with me? I actually filmed this video yesterday and I edited it. It was just so bad I thought I'm going to redo it. Okay. So just peel that off. Let's see if this worked. It's probably not going to work, is it? So here it is. It's not as deep as I'd like it to be. I haven't really pressed hard enough. I'm not doing it justice, but let's imagine that I did that nice and deep. My next step would be to either flatten it so that I can bake it all flattened and then just sand it a little and see my pattern, or it's magic, I'll show you how, or I could leave it as is, bake it and then sand it and then find my pattern. Some people slice off the pattern with a knife. Obviously here I haven't done it deep enough, but even if I had done it deep enough, it's quite hard to do that. It's not my preferred method. My preferred method is sanding. So let's get to the nitty gritty here. So when you do a mica shift, let's see, when I did it and I flattened it, it was a little bit funny. So I flattened this, and I don't know if you're catching that. It looks more like brains than leopard print. So I don't think that flattening was the right way to do this. But it has, unless you want to make a brains look. So that's what Mica Shift does, you see. It's not three-dimensional, it's totally flat, but it gives a three-dimensional illusion. Not so much on that one. When I decided to actually bake it when it's completely bumpy and then sand it back afterwards, I got this. And look at that. That's amazing, isn't it? That is sanded down to be completely flat. Now I know I've put resin over these, but look at that. That is absolutely brilliant. It looks completely 3D. The illusion is amazing. I think everybody who's using polymer clay should have a go at Mica Shift, because that is just incredible. And all I did was just make a pattern like that and sand it after it was baked. And I think you can see it's a vast improvement on that. That, by the way, doesn't have resin on. That has Pearl-Ex varnish on it, which I, for one, I'm not a fan. Nah. Anyway, so they are the results of using that texture sheet along with this. And whoops, and perhaps you could let me know in the comments down below which one is your favorite or which one you'd like to try to do. The spotty texture sheet, which I haven't bothered to demonstrate for you, but you get the idea. The flattened one, where I just literally made the pattern and then just flattened it. And the way I flattened this, by the way, was just to go over it like that again until it was flat. And I did sand it a little after it was baked, just to tidy it up. But that's how I did that. So the spotty one, the one that I flattened, looks like this, and actually not as bad. It's just bigger spots. So that works for that. You need to just mess around with these ideas and see what you come up with. And that I've actually varnished with my favourite, which is Duraclear Gloss Varnish from Americana. So that was the flattened version of the Mica Shift. Don't do any with a knife. I don't even know how people do that with a blade. And this is the one which I just baked as a 3D thing and then sanded afterwards. And it's quite a hard job, the sanding, to be honest, but it really is amazing. Look at that. So this is totally flat now, and even without the resin, it would feel completely flat to the touch. and I think you'll agree that's amazing. So there's some things you could do. I thought I'd show you some polymer claying along with just waving some new texture sheets at you. There's the ones that I did for that. Always worth having a little go. I highly recommend people, I know it feels like wasting clay, but I highly recommend to people that you make some testers. Not necessarily making them all shapes like that, but I think this is a great idea. I think these are a good investment. I will put the link in the description down below. I hope that worked for you. I hope this video is better than the one I made yesterday, but you'll never know because you're not going to see the one I made yesterday. If there's anything I've failed to mention that you'd like to ask me, just let me know and I'll answer them. You know me, I do interact a lot with people who leave me messages or leave me comments. And yeah, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'm going to go and see, did you hear that bang? I'm going to go and see how much of my house is left. I love you all. Bye.